Two bounty hunters team up to catch a wanted outlaw and claim the reward. Let's see what clever tricks they use in this thrilling movie. The film opens with a man sitting on a train, wearing a hat and reading a book. A ticket checker conductor comes by to check tickets, but the man doesn't have one. In a panic, he pulls the emergency chain. The train screeches to a halt. As the train driver stops the train, the man quickly hops off with his horse. The ticket checker follows him to confront him, but the man scares him off. The train moves on, leaving the man behind. Just then, the man notices a wanted poster nearby featuring the photo of a notorious outlaw. Curious, he asks the ticket booth clerk and learns that the dangerous criminal can be found in the next village. Excited by the chance to make some money, he grabs the poster and heads toward that village. At a local liquor shop, he gathers information about the outlaw's hideout. With everything he needs, the man heads straight for the outlaw's room. Quietly, he slips the poster under the door and knocks. Inside, the outlaw realizes someone's come hunt him. He escapes through the back door. As the man opens the door, he finds only a young woman inside. Realizing the outlaw is fleeing, he immediately draws his gun and shoots at him. The wanted man is killed on the spot. That man is revealed to be Mortimer, a former army colonel who, after retiring from the military, turned into a bounty hunter. He hunts dangerous outlaws for reward money. That's how he makes a living. On the other side of the story, another man rides into a village during a rainstorm. Soaked and tired, he enters a local bar where people are busy drinking and having a good time. He meets someone who tells him about a high-stakes card game going on inside. Hoping to earn some cash, he joins the game. Lady Luck is on his side. He keeps winning. The man he's playing against, afraid of losing more money, calls on his gang of outlaws for backup. But instead of running, this stranger pulls out his gun and quickly guns down the entire gang. He collects his winnings, gets on his horse, and rides off. This man is Malmo, another bounty hunter who catches outlaws and lives off the reward money. The story moves to a jail where suddenly a gang of outlaws attacks. Their goal is to free their boss, who was imprisoned there. The gang storms the jail and breaks him out. Their boss is a ruthless bandit named Indio. He's extremely dangerous. During the jailbreak, he kills all the police officers except one. He lets that man live so he can go back and tell the others just how costly it would be to try and catch him. After escaping, Indio goes to the home of the man who had once turned him in. Indio had sworn that once he got out of jail, he would kill that man first. He follows through on his promise and takes his revenge. Next, Indio tells his gang that they're going to rob the biggest bank in Paso City. He reveals that the bank contains around $1 million, but it's heavily guarded and breaking in won't be easy. The vault is hidden, and the trick is not to open the vault directly, but to go behind it where there's a wooden box. That's where the real money is hidden. Indio knows this secret because, while in jail, he met the man who originally built that wooden box. The police put up Indio's wanted posters everywhere, offering a $10,000 reward for him, dead or alive. Seeing the poster, both bounty hunters, Mortimer and Monco, get to work tracking him down. They stay at a hotel, convinced Indio will soon make his move on the bank. Their plan is to catch him during the heist. But there's one problem. Who will claim the reward since both hunters are involved? One night, they confront each other, ready to fight over it, but then they decide to team up and split the reward. Mortimer tells Monco, "Let's work together and catch this guy. We'll both get rich." Monco agrees. He notices a watch in Mortimer's hand and asks about it. Mortimer says that the watch holds memories. It's connected to someone special from his past. Meanwhile, Indio grows more desperate for money. Since getting out of prison, he hasn't had any major success. In his desperation, he breaks into a house where a husband and wife are sleeping. The couple is terrified. Indio, having no mercy or humanity. Indio then notices she had a musical pocket watch, and that moment hints at something deeper in the story. Meanwhile, Mortimer and Monco are planning how to capture Indio. Mortimer suggests that in order to get close enough to catch him, one of them will have to infiltrate Indio's gang. Mortimer adds, "There's one man in prison right now who could help us do this, but we'll need to break him out first to make our plan work." Hearing this, Monco immediately heads to the prison and breaks the man out. According to the plan, Monco takes the freed man to Indio. When El sees one of his men out of jail, he's overjoyed. But soon, suspicions begin to arise in his mind. He looks at Monco and asks, "Who are you?" Since he's never seen him before. Monco expresses a desire to join El's gang. He says, "I need money too, and I want in on the action." Indio, though naturally suspicious, decides to accept him into the gang. Now that Monco is inside the gang, El begins to brief him on their next job. One day, he gives Monco his first assignment, rob a bank in a town called Santa Cruz. El says, "2 of my men will go with you. Meanwhile, the rest of us will head to Paso City." The next day, Monco sets out with El's men towards Santa Cruz. But not long after they start, he changes his mind, remembering that his real mission is to capture Indio. So Monco kills all 3 of El's men, then continues on to Santa Cruz. Once there, he sends a false message message to the Paso City Bank, saying that El Indio is currently robbing the Santa Cruz Bank. Hearing this, the police from the Paso City Bank immediately rush to Santa Cruz, hoping to catch El Indio there. But Monco heads in the opposite direction, straight to Paso City. When he arrives, he and Mortimer secretly watch from a hotel window, observing El Indio's gang preparing for the real heist. Soon El Indio's gang arrives at the bank and blows a hole through the back wall, not the front as Mortimer and Monco had expected. The two bounty hunters are caught off guard. The gang removes the vault through the back and escapes quickly. Mortimer, realizing their plan failed, shoots Monco, injuring him, but it's all part of their plan. Mortimer wants Monco to return to El Indio's gang and pretend that he was ambushed while trying to rob Santa Cruz and that his 3 companions were killed in the process. That evening, El Indio breaks open the wooden box and finds the vault inside, just as planned. At that moment, Monco returns, wounded, and tells El that he barely escaped with his life, confirming that his 3 fellow gang members were killed. El believes him and says, "We'll lay low for a month in a small village until the heat dies down." As they enter the remote village, Mortimer is already there, waiting. Monco is shocked to see him, but Mortimer had anticipated that El Indio would hide out somewhere like this. El Indio confronts Mortimer and asks, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Mortimer calmly replies, "I can open the vault you just stole. If you try to blow it open, you'll burn all the money inside." El Indio is suspicious, but intrigued. To test him, he tells Mortimer to go ahead and open the vault. Mortimer, carrying a few special tools, quickly and expertly opens the vault, just as he said he would. El Indio tells Mortimer, "You'll get your share of the money, but you'll have to wait 1 month." The entire gang, now that the vault had been opened, was ecstatic. They were suddenly filthy rich. El Indio takes the vault and stores it inside his warehouse. But later that night, Mortimer and Monco sneak into the warehouse, open the vault, and start stuffing the cash into their bags. They're just about to escape quietly when El Indio catches them. El had suspected all along that these two were planning something. He hadn't slept all night, just waiting for them to make a move. Now caught, Monco and Mortimer are brutally beaten by the gang. After the beating, El says, "We'll deal with them tomorrow." It was already midnight. He goes to sleep, then he comes to know that one of his men has chased them both away from here. He calls his men and saying, "These two killed our own men. They helped them escape." He orders his gang to execute Mortimer and Monco. The gang sets out to kill them, but El knows his men won't succeed. He tells one of his trusted men, "These two aren't ordinary men. They're skilled bounty hunters. They shoot faster than anyone you've ever seen." The man replies with a strategy. "If we want to kill them, we first need to separate them. Once apart, they'll turn against each other, and we can take all the money and escape." However, Groggy, one of El Indio's own gang members, stays behind. He suspects something's off, that El is playing a double game. Groggy then shoots one of El's men dead and forces El to open the vault. When El opens it, he finds only a wanted poster with his own face on it. The vault is completely empty. El and Groggy are shocked. They have no idea what happened. What they don't know is that Monco had hidden all the money in a bag, suspended from the warehouse ceiling. Soon after, a fight breaks out. Mortimer and Monco face off against El and Groggy. Gunfire erupts from both sides. Mortimer and Monco start taking down the entire gang one by one. El and Groggy, who are still inside the warehouse, are the last ones standing. Then Mortimer shouts El Indio's name, trying to lure him out. He yells, "I'm Douglas Mortimer." Hearing the name shocks El. It suddenly brings back the memory of a traumatic event, the time he had killed a husband and the wife who then committed suicide. That woman was someone Mortimer deeply cared about. Mortimer didn't want to kill El for money. This was personal. As he approaches El suddenly fires his gun, knocking Mortimer's weapon from his hands. Then El, with confidence, says, "I'll give you one chance. When the music from this watch stops, reach for your gun. Let's see who's faster." El was sure that by the time Mortimer bent down to pick up the gun, he'd shoot him dead. Just as the music starts to fade, Monco appears, also holding a musical pocket watch, the same one he had secretly stolen from Mortimer's bag the night before. Now, El Indio stood face to face with two deadly bounty hunters. He was beginning to feel nervous. Monco says, "This is a game of death, and everyone deserves a fair chance." Then, Monco starts the musical pocket watch. As the music begins and slowly nears its end, Mortimer quickly draws his gun and shoots El Indio. El doesn't even get a chance to fire back. He dies on the spot. After killing El Indio, Mortimer takes back his musical watch from Monco. Inside it is a photograph of a girl, the same girl El had raped, who later committed suicide. Monco asks, "Who is she?" Mortimer quietly replies, "She was my sister." With El now dead, Mortimer has avenged his family. That was his true mission all along. Monco says, "We killed the most dangerous outlaw in the land. We'll split the reward between us." But Mortimer refuses the money. He says, "I don't need the money. My revenge is complete. Take the entire reward. You need it more than I do." Go live your life in peace. Monco is surprised, but he understands. The colonel's mission is over. Monco loads all the dead outlaws' bodies into a horse-drawn cart. Just as he's about to leave, Groggy suddenly attacks him, but Monco kills him instantly. That was the last surviving member of El Indio's gang, now taken down by Monco. Monco then rides off with the dead bodies, heading toward the police station. He knows he'll earn enough fame and reward from this to live the rest of his life in comfort. He also decides that after this final hunt, he'll leave his bounty hunting days behind and start a new chapter. In the final scene, Monco rides off toward the police with the reward money, and the story comes to an end.